So, I really wanted subclasses, so I cheated, and now we have subclasses.
いらっしゃい。どうぞ。どうしますか？何を習得しますか？
Articulating the way that nature went from single modern humans, not for a billion years, which is correct. Then Joe says that artificial life will become so advanced that it will be like a god.
Back going. Into a life. We got life. Has now untethered. Doesn't have any problems with biological evolution. Now it's just about the information and input. Technology is available. Increasing that technology makes better. Essentially becomes a god.
It doesn't make it a god. In the sense that machine, however powerful it is, any more than a backup, is a god. You think we can dig a trench faster than men. It's still something that people create.
Tucker twists it around and says it won't be God because we made it, which isn't the point, and then lightly fearmongers a bit regarding AI. That aspect is not terribly relevant to what we're discussing, so let's get to the science denial. Is that okay with you, Tuck? Awesome, here we go.
If evolution is real, and if there is this constant...
Tuck asks if evolution is real, so he might as well be a flat earther claiming that gravity isn't real.
But it's visible. You can measure it in certain elements.
Joe says we can observe it, which we
気をつけるんだよ。
and do every day. So evolution is objectively real. Let's see how this unfolds.
Measure adaptation.
Yeah.
No. Theory of evolution.
Back it up, fellas. Every biologist in the world is wrong and dumb because this guy says so. That's right, in one sentence, he reveals his profound stupidity in first regurgitating the creationist trope that evolutionary biology is nothing but the apprentice of a 19th century prophet instead of a thriving theist. That's and would be totally unrecognizable to Darwin, and also that somehow we've given up on evolution, when in reality, literally nothing in the entire field of biology is discussed outside of an evolutionary framework. went from 0 to 60 on Tucker's stupidometer in a single sentence.
In what sense?
Now, a lot of people hate Joe. I bet some of you watching hate Joe. I don't. I acknowledge that his platform is problematic and he's part of the obnoxious anti-woke mob. There is merit to breaking down echo chambers, and I've seen him push back on questionable guests, even aggressively. Sometimes his personal biases cause him to deny certain aspects of science, thereby empowering a guest, and the result is the propagation of dangerous misinformation. Other times he has a different kind of science denier on, smells bullshit, and just asks questions until they say something stupid. It's the best he can do given his lack of expertise, and in this moment that's what he settles on. In what sense have we given up on evolution, Tucker?
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that all life emerged from a single cell organism, and over time, and there would be a fossil record. It's not.
Oh, there's no fossil record, Tuck? Then what about fossil record? Have you looked into the fossil record? See stromatolites pertaining to cellular life years ago, and then eating
Oh damn, it works.
and then utterly countless forms generating everything
Drive blades count as swords.
over every eon.
Swords don't count as drive blades, but drive blades count as
If you haven't
swords.
seen that thing which
Fuck
objectively
yeah.
exists, maybe you should go on an enormous podcast and pretend that it doesn't exist.
There's a fossil record of transitionary species, like species that are adapting to its environment.
There's tons of record of
Right.
adaptation, and you see it in your own life.
Dogs, I can see that. Dogs.
Sure, Joe pushes back lightly since he is at least somewhat aware that there are countless transitional species in the fossil record, meaning that Tucker is shit. Tucker just comes back with, there's tons of record of adaptation, which is exactly what he just said doesn't exist. Organisms adapt to fit evolutionary niches or in response to changing environmental stimuli, producing new morphologies as the result of many successive species events. Adaptation is part of evolution, you nitwit. Of course, he doesn't even understand the sentence he just spoke, so he immediately pivots to modern dogs, which are specifically not the product of adaptation, but rather artificial selection, so it's literally the worst example he can choose. Okay, Tuck, let's talk about dogs.
No, there's no evidence at all that, none, zero,
決まっ
that
たら気をつけていくんだぞ。
evolved seamlessly from a single cell. But no, there's not. There's no chain in the fossil record at all.
Never mind, no dogs after all, just back to reiterating the same baseless incredulity. Yes, there is completely insurmountable evidence that precisely that did happen. There is so much evidence, in fact, that analysis of this evidence is broken up into completely different fields of science. Anthropologists study the enormous variety of hominid species that diverged from our most recent prime ancestor with Clark's apes, and also even farther back with more primitive primate forms. On a broader scale, paleontologists study fossilized remnants of plants and animals over hundreds of millions of years, each specializing in an era of a particular phylogenetic taxon. If you never bothered to get off your ass and learn something, you would have found that all of this information is very easily accessible to you, and you wouldn't say something so profoundly stupid for millions of people a
なん
year.
ぞ
And that's why you don't actually hear people
毎度あり
make reference to evolution, because the theory of adaptation is obviously true.
There is no theory of adaptation, genius. That's not a thing. Adaptation is an evolutionary process. By saying adaptation happens, you are saying evolution happens. If Joe were better equipped to handle this before, he would have asked what Tucker thinks the difference is between adaptation and evolution, and how adaptation occurs mechanistically on the molecular and cellular level. At which point Tucker would shit his pants and change the subject.
But Darwin's theories, totally, that's why it's still a theory. It's 200 years later. No, we have not found it at all.
And of course, it's not a conversation with a science-denying moron without the still a theory script. Theories do not ever become anything other than theories under any circumstances ever, no matter how well corroborated they are, and evolution by natural selection is as corroborated as any theory can be. That's why every biologist in the world would laugh in your face if they heard you say any of this, just like any chemist would laugh in your face if you called atomic theory into question.
And I can't even guess. I mean, I have my own theories on it.
Oh, Tuck, the little amateur scientist has his own theories that are more consistent with observation than 200 years of biological research he is clueless about. But of course, they aren't proven.
What are your theories?
God created people distinctly.
Joe wants to know Tucker's theory, which of course isn't a theory at all, it's just God did it. Tucker is a creationist. God went zappity-doo and humans appeared. Adam and Eve from dust and a rhythm, most likely, since humans are made of dust and rhythm.
And animals.
Wait, and animals too? God made all the animals super special? When was that exactly? And all the fossils of extinct species we find in the ground? When did those get there? Were they once alive animals? Why did he make millions of species just to kill them? Were those whoopsie-doopsie experiments he didn't like, so he got rid of them? That's totally what omniscient, omnipotent deities do all the time.
That's like, I think, what every person on Earth thought until the mid-19th century. Right. It's not a new idea.
You're right, Tucker. It's not a new idea at all. It's what everybody thought until we figured out what really happened with science. Kind of like how everyone thought the Earth was the center of the solar system until we figured out that it isn't. And that disease was incantations and demons until we figured out that it isn't. And that lightning was angry Zeus on a cloud until we figured out that it isn't. You're saying that old ignorance is more correct than real modern knowledge because you say so, and giggling like a schoolgirl about it.
They didn't have computers, they didn't have a general understanding that we have today of the process.
Do you think we understand that?
Yes.
Really?
You don't think we understand more today?
Way less.
Joe offers a diluted version of what I just said. Those people were ignorant. Now we know more things. But of course, Tuck has another hot take. We understand less today than we did hundreds of years ago. We have planes and trains and rockets and the internet, but we know less than when we couldn't make those things. We have deep comprehension regarding cosmology and plate tectonics and genetics, but we understand less than when none of those fields of science existed. Tucker is an immaculate example of a science-illiterate moron who genuinely believes that if he doesn't understand something, nobody does or ever has. It's literal toddler mentality.
We understand so little that we're actually sitting here bowing like a bunch of greedy, stupid, childless software engineers.
Why does that having a child matter?
Extinction of humanity.
Childless software developers. Every single software developer has children, you guys, and their work will probably kill off mankind. It's definitely not going to be ultra-right-wing, science-denying evangelicals who manipulate and fearmonger their way into power and then bring us all back to the Dark Ages through brutal subjugation and a militarized police force. There's no risk of that at all.
So no, previous generations would be like, no, stop.
Ah, yes, the age-old conservative myth that everything was better in the past. People were happier, they were smarter, they were more moral. Who could argue with that? In reality, it was full of genocidal maniacs who never stopped stealing land and enslaving each other, so they were even bigger assholes than we are today. Except maybe you, Tucker.
And we're not doing that because
But
we
then
know
we've done that even with the nuclear bomb.
Joe calmly pushes back with some basic logic, and then we begin pivoting to Tucker talking out of his ass on a variety of other topics. But those will have to wait for another day. So that was a short one. I just felt compelled to crap all over Tucker's creationist rhetoric because I so rarely get to go after more prominent pundits instead of the usual ensemble of apologist frauds. Let me know if you'd like to see more of it. See you next time.
どうしますか？わかりました。
Snyder should relax. Yes, he did. I think it's just as much. Just in time. Give me a chance to crack this guy. I have an idea. Thanks. The floor is yours.
So, Mr. Argentatos, this alleged affair with Miss Wyndham has been going on for 2 years. And your first name again is?
Nikos.
And your boyfriend's name is?
Carlos.
Sorry, friend. Say boyfriend, I thought you said best friend. Carlos is my best friend.
You bastard! You lying bastard! That's it! I don't come to pay you no more! He bounce! Smash! Alright, he's stop! The closet came! I will say all the way. You want something new? They want it.
So if I may, I'm proud to say he's gay. This could actually work. I didn't realize subclassing would be such a bitch. With the new thingies. This just says Umbral. Doesn't say. I see. It'll work. Honestly, I don't even think I'll use Ibir anymore. The only reason I chose Ibir was because her mate class was Gunner. This is objectively a no-brainer choice. In fact, this is honestly so great for anyone. If they're in the back line, all they need is this. This is literally all they need. And then they'll have infinite self-sustain. Optimist is kind of OP as a subclass, at least in terms of self-sustain.
Toys Review started out as a humble toy channel about a kid playing with toys, but that quickly turned into so much more. With the channel beginning to gain millions upon millions of views per upload, Ryan is now the face of a multi-million-dollar company. And the whole efforts proved to be extremely successful, having garnered over $29 million in 2020 alone. By that point, the channel has become a staple of kids' content on YouTube, and Ryan has become one of the highest earning creators on the site. The company boasts toys, video games, toys, multiple TV shows, and toys, as well as several successful channels. Hey guys, it's your boy Combo Pandas here, and today I am to say the N-word. Last year I made a video about Race with Ryan, a car racing game featuring the Ryan school brand character. Well, they recently released a new game,
Ryan's Rescue Squad. The game was released in March of 2022, but the game seems to have mostly gone under the radar, with only one review on Metacritic. And today, I can't see if this game is over its predecessor, or if it's somehow even worse. Welcome to Ryan's Rescue Squad. Okay, now's the part where you say something. Welcome to Basement Ryan! Can you leave me alone? Look at this lively menu. After opening Ryan's Rescue Squad software update, the first thing you see is a banger cutscene to showcase the lore and story of the game. So basically, Ryan and the homies are playing video games when all of a sudden, Ryan accidentally recites an ancient incantation and summons a hell portal that puts him and his friends into the game. He's met by some evil people like Ryan, but evil and hipster, and Ryan prepares to fight them. But instead, they choose to kidnap Ryan's friends and run away. Now I know it probably hurts to hear that Brad is probably torturing your friends in his basement, but you shouldn't worry about that right now. We have bigger things to deal with. Something that's worth pointing out with the cutscenes is that they're somewhat reminiscent of the low-quality nature of the security glitch endings. I can only assume that's because the entire game probably had a budget based off whatever they can find in between Ryan's code. We then find ourselves in the level hub, which takes place in some blank spaceship-looking thing. As you can see, in this game you play as Ryan. There are 4 worlds in this game. Space! Next thing you know, we find ourselves in the very first level. And wow, this is definitely a video game. There are enemies, collectibles, and even purple egg things that are probably made of 98% lead. The kids in the sweatshops are eating good tonight. If they make a few more eggs, they might even be able to see their families again. So the main way to defend yourself in such an unforgiving environment is by beating the fuck out of these blobs. They're honestly non-issues though, since you can dash at them, ground pound, and even just jump on their heads to kill them. But by far the most effective method of dealing with these guys is to throw the aforementioned purple eggs at them. I like the fact that there's no throwing animation, so Ryan ends up looking like an empty husk, brutally murdering any and all innocent beings that cross his path of destruction. The eggs always go exactly where you aim. So there's little to no risk and challenge in lining up a shot, since it always goes exactly where you want it to. And even when you do miss a shot, it doesn't really matter. Since you can carry up to 5 of these things at once, with no limit to how many respawn. Aside from these blobs, you also have to deal with other enemies, like big trolls. And the deadliest thing you'll ever set your eyes upon. Colored pencils. For real though, if you fucking touch these things, you instantly perish. And that'll lose you a whole 4 seconds of progress when you respawn. Each level contains a varying amount of surprise eggs and Ryan dollars, which is obviously a metaphor for Ryan. Parents' actual dollars. There are also the more plentiful sun coins, which are used in tandem with the mystery eggs to purchase cosmetics. After beating all the levels in a world, a portal in the ground opens up, and we can finally fight the boss of the world. So Ryan and his slave walk, and they see the guy, and he's all like, hey. Ryan and the better walk toward again, and then the man shows his lovely smile. So the boss fight is pretty simple. Double combo with weapon, Ryan shooting bullet, and down the dodge mode. He's then diagnosed with stage 3 dementia and forgets how to drive. So he lands, and that gives you an opportunity to fly. Something really annoying with this fight is that the little thrusters on top of the flying saucer have giant ass boxes, so you can die while successfully hitting it, which will send you right back to the loading screen with no warning or identification, which in turn only makes things more confusing. So after beating the boss, you get a machine. Ryan opens the egg, just like you can, for the low price of $60, and inside it's Gus the Gummy Gator, formerly known as Choo Choo Gus, and we unlock a new playable character. Well, bye. After that, we make our way to Pirate World. When it looks stylistically different from the last one, you can see that most of the world consists of assets from the last world, like the enemy, or fused obstacle mechanics, like the spikes. There are a couple new mechanics, however, like bows and cannons that cause life-threatening rage attacks. You've even got some moves of your own, which you can throw at your enemies to give them a disease. Most of the levels are nothing to write home about, but the 4th level is at least pretty interesting. It had me riding on a boat and going little practices. Unfortunately though, the game reuses this exact mechanic later on. There are also underwater segments later on, and gross! After we beat all the levels, we get another so Ryan and they take the spirit block. There's another Ryan's World. Officially licensed surprise thing. You can buy for another $60. But then that sweet, sweet surprise thing is trapped. Wait, no. It's to destroy the Ryan. It's personal. Monster can destroy Orion's world. So now it's time to fight that rat. He attacks you like she. After Guardian sounds familiar. But the difference between Robocop and Pac-Rat is that hamster doesn't suffer from stage 7 Alzheimer's. But luckily for you, you're able to blunt force. All you have to do is shoot the radioactive purple egg at him, and then you can just sit back and mental state that's very great in front of your very eyes. Then you can step on his head and win the fight. So then Ryan carelessly throws the egg he was oh so worried about before. And that summons a portal of both Pac-Rat, which he in turn flies through. 2 months down. One ticket. Inside the egg, he's himself. The next world is prehistory. Now this is where I stopped with shit about collecting the eggs, and instead I just focused on being a puzzle. So this world features the same enemies as before, but recolored. Of course, there's also a few mechanics that'll definitely touch them off later. And for this world, solid platforms. Of course, the bone mechanics are the last world of that, which means the pirate world feels even less urgent. But that's not very fair. Something that slightly changes with the level design in this world is that there's a lot more verticality as we go through the levels. There's also a new feature here. There's a dinosaur named Sheldon that you can ride. Each of the levels have a part where you can go through a door and then you ride the dinosaur. They feel really shoehorned. Since the little skull-being grounds are completely separate from the rest of the levels, it gives me the impression that it was probably something added last minute, or maybe they had bigger plans for this mechanic. The dinosaur has this really annoying scream, but you have to use to get all the blocks out of the way. And like the ground-pounding melee attack, it completely stops all the way. And like the world, there's also a pretty interesting level. It's jumping away as lava rises, and you have to get away. And then it's doing the exact same thing, but from the side. At the end of the find himself faced by Dark Titan. But before I do that, I'm gonna make my famous so the Ryan Red stand in the face, and the Dark Titan is angry, and then they do a staring contest.
But you are trapped here. Our channels are abandoned. You wait. No way.
I can't see the end anymore. The Dark Titan fight is actually completely different from the other two. Dark Titan attacks you by moving left and right and shooting radioactive booger, then drops a purple egg which you can throw at him and then you beat him up. The only thing that actually changed is that now he breaks into the ground which we hit. Okay, so maybe it's the same as the other two, but that means we've already beaten each of the main villains in the game. It makes me think, what could the final boss possibly be? So Dark Titan runs away to a spaceship, and then Brian and friends all get put into a cage, and then Dark Titan escapes through a portal. But luckily for us, our good pal Sheldon is back, and he breaks the cage and sets us all. We're now in the final world, base. You start out in a space station type thing. You need to make your way past steps later. Later on, you leave the space station and you can go outside. The lead up for this part was actually surprisingly well done. Having you go through the ship lowers your expectations and makes it all the more surprising when you even get to see the environment. Obviously, there's still a lot of reuse and normal methods, but the devs actually made the world feel as low gravity comes from spectators. I actually like the low gravity mechanic. The platforming on its own already felt a bit slowy in the other worlds, so when the game embraces it, the platforming actually feels pretty nice. Because of the gravity change, this also leaves the level design to be more wide open. As having time levels would feel cluttered at this point. In these levels, the super cool gimmick is that there are these UFO things, where you have to shoot enemies and dodge lasers. These are fine, I guess, but the only things you have to deal with is a singular type of enemy that shoots forward, and some reused lasers from earlier parts of the level. There's actually a mini-game where you use the ship later on. You need to collect the sun coins from the way with meteors. The other one thing here is that the ship has a tiny and it moves super slowly. So if you move too far forward, you're bound to get hit. After making our way through the final few levels, we finally make it to the final boss. As you know, we've already. So the final boss can be anything. It can be a giant robot, it can be 6 and watch escape working with Kama. Possibilities are endless. You fight each of them. Okay, so maybe the whole game is just shit. Wait, what's that?
guys, and welcome back to another episode of Terror's Toys of Blue. And in today's episode, we're gonna open the challenge. So this Friday comes with sticker, mystery sticker, mystery info, and this crazy bear. Wow! Let's open the egg.
何を習得しますか？
Wow! The egg is open! Let's open this side first! Wow! That's a lot of Ryan toys! Okay, so first up we got, fucking Transformer Ryan! What? And the next one! Oh my god! It's Ryan the King! Alright, next one. Oh my god! It's Ryan, but he's like the face Ryan! Alright, two more! He's never been now! He's returned! We got it! One more toy! Fucking Sheldon. Okay, now let's open the side of the egg! It's a bumper car! Wow! So now that we open them, let's find out the toy!
I'm gonna fucking shoot you to death. You motherfucking look, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I hate you. I hate you. Fucking kill you.
No, you will not kill the rich millionaire. I am superhero Ryan. Remember, kids, hurting people is bad.
You didn't shoot me! I'm super right!
Oh, I'm real. Trying right now, right? It's trying to
Now we're here to see you.
It's you, Master Ryan.
Oh no. Okay, kids, before Ryan shoots me to death in cold blood, I need a weapon to defend myself! I hate you all. Okay, here's the gun. Okay, time to shoot Ryan.
Okay. Bye, Ryan. Is that you, Ryan?
What the actual fuck?
Ryan Refuge 1 is definitely an upgrade compared to Race with Ryan, but not by that much. With the reused game mechanics, lack of content, and the game being generally and now I'm not going to get national in comments saying, but THPR, Ryan Rescue Squadrons for little children! You can't expect it to be good! Well, so like Super Mario Bros. Is a game I was able to play and beat as a literal infant, and it still holds up to this day. It also works well as a game for both and grown-ups alike. Yeah, Ryan's Rescue Squad was without a doubt designed for kids. But when kids play video games, they're often playing with adults or their older siblings so that the game isn't as hard. But anyone over the age of 7, what if their minds playing this game? I recommend it. As there are way better platforms you can never listen if we stagger reviews. But hey, at least it isn't as large as the fucking Ryan egg. Jesus Christ, that price egg. Also, a lot of people wanted me to review Super Spy Rocket. And from what I've played, it's honestly just a mediocre mobile game. The cutscenes actually look good, because they have a bunch of them for more than $8. The main goal in the game is just to get as many toys as possible, while also attacking the other team to steal their toys to add to your own. Wow, I love toys. There isn't enough content in the game for it to warrant its own video, so I'm just kind of stitching this on at the end of this video. Just so I'm able to provide a review for the people who have been asking me for one. Also, Discord server and second channel exists, okay, bye.
What the fuck did I just watch? Yeah, fuck it.
わかりました。どうしますか？
Even the data files are Genshin Impact. Every user is given an SNID number, which is then referenced via the character names. Apart from the universal name Kaswana, like they reference to home brand. It's currently known for development testing only. The second index below is Kamisoto item, signifying that she was the first Genshin Impact character created by Honor. Subs. The Shida Sakihime is one of Genshin's most beloved characters in history, as despite being released to version 2, players are well aware of her existence from the start of the game due to her being accessible during the beta testing. As a result, ample time was allowed for generating high interest towards her eventual release, and one release it was. I had took over the meta by storm, because spreading damage dealers and establishing himself as a frontrunner of Riot for quite some time. All things considered, her maiden voyage was nothing short of exceptional, with many long-time players, myself included, having fond memories of her back in 2021 and 2022. And while this idea hasn't been that long, almost 3 years have passed since Ayaka's release. What changed? Where does she stand now? In today's episode of What Happened To, we'll be featuring the matriarch of the Kamisato clan. While we're on the subject of talking about Genshin's Japanese region, let's talk actual Japan for a minute. This video is brought to you by Zen Market. Zen Market is a platform that allows you to purchase goods and products from over 10,000 Japanese stores. Essentially what they do is buy the item for you in Japan and ship it to you, kind of like how Uber Eats can deliver food, restaurants who don't have their own delivery service. Fashion, manga, games and toys, music, hobby stuff, electronics, stationery, all kinds of products from well-known stores like anime, and and so on. All you have to do is copy the item to the Zen Market shop. Having just gone to Japan a couple weeks ago, there were a ton of things I wanted to buy, but like most other travelers, I didn't have the space in my luggages to bring everything back home. Zen Market's a safe and cheap way you can still get your hands on Japan products from home, provided they're eligible for international shipping. You can hold your stuff up to 60 days for free and have support for 19 languages. It's a well-trusted platform used by over 2 million users across the world with multiple shipping and payment methods to work with. If you sign up using the code BARS, you can get 750 Zen points gift to start with, which converts to 750 yen while shipping specifically. So if you're someone who wants to buy Japanese goods but can't go to Japan, this is the next best way to do it. Thanks to Zen Market for sponsoring the video, before and after you happen to Ayaka. Genshin's characters all have their respective fan bases, loyal and dedicated to their favorite units almost as if they were real. Over the years, we've had a long list of candidates with ardent followers. Whether you hear their praises sung in the comments on YouTube or Reddit or banners and cosplays made of them, finding that level of support is hard to come by, especially in that chicken. Shogun Ganyu Nahida Yuraya Ganchong and Ahikam and Hyu are among the most adored characters in the Genshin community, but few, if any, had a comparable legacy to Ayaka, who, like I said, was one of the most beloved characters in all of Genshin Impact during her time, and this is without having the privileges of being Archon or anything like that. Gameplay aside, I believe she was the first and only unit to receive a dedicated trailer/promotional video for her rerun, underscoring how popular she was not just amongst the player base, but perhaps Lord themselves. When the Archons didn't get this kind of attention, it was truly unprecedented. From being the first character ever conceptualized according to game files and having special promotional material made for her second vendor, it would be no exaggeration to say that she was Genshin's favorite child back. This was further compounded by the somewhat mimetic reputation of rerun vendor network due to political and logistical issues that took place in 2022. It would be extended to account for the delay
何を習得しますか
because it wasn't exactly clear how long that delay would be. At one point, Ayaka's banner was slated to last 240 days, giving her the title of the longest running banner to this day. And a bunch of yandere memes were made about you being stuck with her forever. Ability was reinforced even further through her gameplay strength, as she was far and away one of the most powerful damage dealers during the better part of version 2, despite their already having priced by a much stronger form, and this turned out by concentrating a lot more of her power budget on all
何を
damage.
習得しますか
Downloaded damage to be exactly that, necessarily sacrificing on utility ease of use. Her Thousand Cuts nature practically disqualified her from her personnel teams as her rate of attack was simply too high for any pirate unit to keep up with, placing her firmly in the increased category. Alongside Bandit National and Bait Runners, Threes was one of the dominant teams for most of Genshin's early game. Sufficient file and Hydra application, assuming the target was immune to the stats effect, you could perpetually stop enemies from moving or attacking, making Freeze theoretically the most powerful and consistent
わか
reaction,
りました
as you could totally forego the need for defensive utility on account of you never getting attacked. Even nowadays, Freeze is widely touted for how much it trivializes the difficulty of the game, prompting Koyo to release more and more enemies of Freeze immunity for that very reason. The trade-off was that Freeze offered no direct boost to one's DPS like other reactions, a deficiency that's become more pronounced over the years, which I'll get into in a moment. However, Ayaka overcame that through sheer internal strength. Her base damage and uptime allowed her to take advantage of Freeze, keeping enemies immobilized to dish out incredible DPS. Thanks to her alternate spread, she essentially has permanent cloud confusion on her basic attacks, whose damage is further augmented for short duration after casting a skill courtesy of her 1. But the real icing on the cake, no pun intended, was her trademark Blizzard Elemental, a Gale Force tornado that slowly advanced from the point of cast to deal rapid crowd damage to all enemies caught within. If every strike connected, she could potentially one-shot even boss enemies of this attack, and if you quite see too. With the aid of some form of crowd control, Ayaka can also decimate groups of enemies every time, making her both a very efficient boss killer and wave clear. For the better part of version 2, Ayaka stood shoulder to shoulder with the best teams at that time, including but not limited to Riot National, Child International, Zuko's Taser, Monoju to a lesser extent, and then later Double Hydro following the advent of Yella. While Ganyu was more suited for general usage, Ayaka was a clear favorite in the realm of pure damage, and remember she received no extra DPS from the freeze reaction, unless of course you count on have to chase after enemies. It was all her own power, putting into perspective just how strong she was. She received more support in this department following Shinko's release, a 5-star support character with a niche focus on buffing crowd damage across the board, from normal and charged to highest elemental skills and bursts, all aspects for which Ayaka was qualified, as everything in the kit was about dealing damage. She took great advantage of this opportunity. 2 units have been practically joined with her since then, much like Kaguzi flowers unattached to shell, and one pregnant Goro getting a bed Ito. Version 2 saw major upgrades for other teams as well. National team got Shogun, Top received Yella, and Taser got Yanni, and so on. But thanks to receiving Shinko, Ayaka lost no market share during the latter half of version 2. If anything, she became even more popular for being a no-brainer solution to any chamber with that consecutively frozen. Even recent enemies that stood still for the entire fight, highlighting just how much damage you can dish out with her, especially with the right supports. Accentuating her usability was how far you could take her. Having fairly decent area coverage, Ayaka synergized extremely well with Venti and Kaza, capitalizing on the BB Shred boosting crowd damage and their crowd control and grouping improving coverage of her ultimate. Incorporating both basic attacks and abilities into her repertoire, she could use Shincho and Yella to drop her freeze teams, or use Kokomi and be successful while the same. Thanks to the unique interaction Freeze had and preserving Mono's illusory bubble, Ayaka had a long-lasting 60% damage and to work with as well, giving her tons of high-quality supports to draw from despite technically only having one playstyle. Additionally, with Frieza itself being both an offensive and defensive reaction, teams evolving from Zelda bring sustain at all and instead go full damage, such as Ayaka, Shinko, Mona, and Kasuha were 4 offensive units, compared to other teams having only 3. A huge advantage to have is that weren't many sustain supports that didn't require you to sacrifice DPS in some capacity. Moreover, casting artifacts at the Blizzard Strider was practically meaningless. If Nintendo would crack resistance, Ayaka gained 54% more strength for free as the Blizzard can maintain freeze on enemies in the entire duration, letting her focus all of her attention on doing crit damage instead of crit rate, since you only needed 45% to cap her up, while most of the units would have to settle for 1 damage of crit damage on most of the items. So this is 2% of it. So no to the status that especially super team. Establishing as one of the best things in Silver. As she did not is what survived. But it's the Bible. Stand also strong options of one. Share some of the options of friendship. So, just the all. Actually,
どうしますか？わかりました。
That's a line she's not the most compatible. It's not unsexual, but unexpected. Right, sort of a line she's still like
わかりました。
strong baseline installations to that series or charge exactly.
何を習得しますか？どうしますか？わかりました。
She's still desperate as pirates at the time. It's not like she had a vision. Chambers
どうしますか？わかりました。
The presence having natural existence. It's not like Lauren is Chambers having difference. Just wanted to draw that insufficiency. Example, time control is still a small of the skeleton swallowing its time. By spirit, it's not spirit. And supposed to be shapes to shapes as not to some of that actually so I am also time energy as actually or which we are to also dealt with by the teach that to share the zero system slow down. She was saying that strength is still tied to the action that spell action. So essentially how it's not what so it's very little attention to super
どうしますか？
sport to battle. So that should tell you just like GT still relies on that bounty and small. Since then, since she has succeeded. Child 1 student I see the version this reaction. Central version study serious surgeons but the last for I am taking
どうしますか？
Chapter 4.
何を習得しますか？
As primarily she had additional as on my show.
どうしますか？何を習得しますか？
Child but central. Triple sought to introduce actual politicians, but super essence must have expected instead just hold the better super strength is seen like she So she had access to books, but at this point, it's falling on her. That's the enemies that actually possess power control. Nice. So let's enter to
どうしますか
it's like probably go on there, but it's like my she needs a good time and decide if that's
何を習得しますか
she was saying that it's not sometimes but to take some approach to trust
どうしますか
it's to she said that I said no but she is to go pushing forward this change that it's fun. So like strength is a good change out it's the best and it's the all solution. It's open, it's not a must and it's the
わかりました
potential to situation natural and perspective potential is now that's a one just not best to this day takes a whole potential to maintain so many to be strength but it's a worse thing it's that so damage but a lot of teams are suffering and Diana is nowhere to respond to right now I know she's still less right should have listened so something I would do return one once she doesn't so suddenly stage said changes it's really all she needs to go back to schedule so I'm sorry to watch so now yes the sense of the ultimate system so now the sense of the system it's just getting kind of a lot of time to she
どうしますか
she's snobby tells her to response to
気をつけるんだよ
yeah this is wise I so she's
あ
awesome
また来たな任せとけ
there's so much she said the
何何
that would set her limitations as the point sometimes of or some emotional background it's not too far of the question so she gets a chance to I think that's good